Hello.
We are live. What's
Morning.
going on, people? Good morning. What is all this glamour up above us, Jen?
Oh my gosh, we have guests. One, it's not just you and I, so you don't get all the attention today. And
Boo.
two, we're highlighting these amazing women today. So I'm super excited.
Yes. So for everybody out there in the Omniverse, let us know who you are. Give us a shout out for your people as we go ahead and introduce. Like, if y'all didn't notice, I wore this shirt. Like, I had to do something to draw a little bit of attention to myself because of the immense intellect and beauty that I'm up here on stage with. So, like, I got to do something super. Later on, it lights up so that I don't get forgotten, but I'll hit that button later. So who should we start with, Jennifer?
Well, I think we start with the top left.
Okay.
And
Top
so I'm
left.
going to go with Yesenia. She's going to love that.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Yesenia Garcia. I'm with NTD Mechanical, and I'm on this show thanks to Jennifer Lacey, who I love so much. Known Jennifer now for probably around 5 years when I was on the NAMAC DFW chapter board. So thankful to be here today.
Boom.
It's actually been longer, Yesenia, but that's okay. Like, it was from like way back.
I'm like at least 5 years,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Good.
And then we got Miss Kirby,
Unknown user.
unknown user. For
I
everybody
did change
that has
that back.
heard that reference, this is Kirby. Kirby, tell us how magical and amazing you are.
Well, I don't know about that. Just not a unknown LinkedIn user anymore. I have a name and a face now. I am a project manager for Bartlett Cock and a mom of 2 that keep me very, very busy. They're 2 and 10 months, and the 10-month-old started walking this weekend. So big moment around here. And that pretty much sums it up right now with those ages.
Boom. Well, that does not sum it up. I'm just gonna go there. So Maria Martin says, "Good morning." What's going on, Maria? And then we got some energy coming at us. Mike Hyman says, "Let's go, baby. We're going." Kirby and I met at the LCI COP in San Antonio. What was it, 3 or 4 years ago?
I think 4 now.
4 years ago. And she stands out specifically because most of the lean practitioners I know, their starting line was optimizing and improving, right? Like that sort of thing. Kirby, right out of the gate, her entire focus has been on people. And how do we do this for people? And that is a unique and special starting point. And I predict that there will be more people that come out. Like, in my head, they're like the 3rd or 4th generation of construction lean practitioners that are starting at the right point, which is with the people. And so if you can read into that, Kirby's pretty damn amazing. And I hope she's blushing right now.
It worked.
Awesome. Miss Amy.
Good morning. I currently am with DPR Construction. I work in field operations for a very large project. And it's with a client that I've been with for 2.5 years. So I'm at least familiar with that. And currently I'm supporting about 85 people like in my 12,000 square feet of construction trailer space on a daily basis.
That's all. Wait. What about like coffee every morning? And
For my craft, coffee for the craft. Yeah, so we provide coffee for our craft every morning. I provide Charmin toilet paper for our trailers because, it's the little things that make it nicer to be there. And I came here through a colleague who I now also consider a friend, and I immediately was sucked in by Jen and Jess back in the 5S series, and I've been all in ever since.
Beautiful. Charmin and coffee, like you had me at hello. That's amazing. We got Abigail Lewis saying, "Go, Amy." Here's one. So we got DJ Hootie Hoots spinning the ones and twos. He's running the keys in the background, being his modest, amazing self. Y'all may not know this, but he is going to be a TED Talk speaker in the very near future. Gangsta, like rolling deep over here. That's super fancy. And then we got,
give him credit because he's leaving on spring break vacation like this week, gonna go hang out with the family, and made sure that he's leaving after the live stream so he could still do all his stuff. So thank you, Adam. Appreciate you and the family.
Yes, thank you all. And then we got hi, mommy. We got Miss Alex watching us. Hello, Alex. Good morning. Steve Martin says, thanks to everyone who contributed ideas for my song. Oh, that's right. He's got a song. 2 weeks is long enough to reflect on everything. And the winner is
reflection. I like it.
Reflection. Word is Adam is going to be putting together. He's going to be the lead singer of a boy band that releases that song here in the very near future.
Oh, I think we have a list of backup dancers too, right, Jess?
Boom! Right, I'm the choreographer, girl. Like, come on, you got to know that.
I think Buddy said that he would sit in on that one too.
Buddy's in. Buddy's absolutely in. We do some maybe Temptations moves. Just my imagination. So, Jen, what are we talking about today?
So today we are talking about the 5 people that have impacted us the most, and so that we kind of posed that as homework from the last show. And you've been great sharing that on social media and just kind of getting people ready. And again, we brought these 3 amazing women on today to kind of share their 5 people, and they can frame it up however they want to. But that was our homework, and also kind of what we're going to talk about today. And we'll share ours too. But that's our focus today.
Yes. And was it an accident that I get to share the stage with all these glorious women?
I mean, is anything ever an accident with you?
No, it's always part of the plan. Mr. Jim, good morning, Jim.
I got to see him this week.
You did? You got to hang out with them, yeah?
I did. Him and his teams.
Man, we got a bunch. Let's do some shout outs for our audience, and then we'll get rolling. So we got Miss Jamie Knox.
Yep.
Good morning, Jamie. We got George Hunt out there saying good morning. Ooh, and here's a good one. Mr. Hal says good morning, and word is that Hal was like, what in the world? We had this kind of like pre-release party about some kind of book, and then it just disappeared. Like, what's going on with that, Jen? You got any updates?
So we had a little bit of some delays, and so that were a little bit outside of our control, but we did this week go through the page turn. We got to look at kind of the layout and make sure everything was right. And I think we are now moving along where we maybe wanted to be a little bit earlier. And so going to go through, I got a couple of more doodles I have to redo because some things weren't quite aligned. And so we are making progress. We don't have a date as to official release, but we are making progress and it will be soon. So we will let you know as soon as we know when it's going to be somewhere where you could push a button and get it.
Yes. And it looks super, super cool. Like it's fun. Yes. Dr. M says, hello from India. Hello, Mr. Dr. M. What does he have? A vlog cast?
Yes.
YouTube, check him out. Real deep thought, good, valuable information. Jeremy Atkinson, I feel like I'm spending time with him every single day. Jeremy, I owe you an email. I will be sending you my profile and my pic and all this stuff. Appreciate you supporting us, my man. And then Steve Martin says, charming and coffee, right? They would never leave the job. Like, heck, I get the 99-cent toilet paper. Like, come on, I'm moving in. Oh, wait a minute. Do we know this gentleman?
Oh, okay. So yes. So I got something to say to Buddy because I know he's on here and he's listening. So I got blown up this week because it was my birthday. And like all of a sudden I had these little birds that were flying around telling everybody it was my birthday. And then I got all this attention, which was, I appreciated it. But somehow it got missed that Buddy's birthday was last weekend. And nobody, and Buddy didn't share that. Buddy didn't tell anybody, but he was real good at making sure people knew it was my birthday. So happy late birthday, Buddy, but we're going to blow you up.
10-4. And we got to give Buddy credit. And this is like the parental warning. There may be some allergic reactions today.
Yes.
Right. And that is Buddy coined that phrase. Buddy owns the hashtag allergies. And what that means is there may be some tears flowing or some eyes sweating. And again,
or some dusty cabs. Some dusty cabs. I heard that this week by James.
Yes. So
like the cab was dusty.
Everybody go to Buddy's profile on LinkedIn and message him. First, follow him and connect with him and connect with everybody that's in the chat because these are all amazing people. We got Bill Neely saying, good morning. Morning, Bill. Thank you for joining us. Abigail Lewis, another good morning. Like, this is an amazing morning. Janet, she says, I was just cracking up on the fact that you look extra happy this morning, surrounded by these fabulous women. Man, I have a hard life, Janet. I'm suffering up here. Keon says, good morning.
He's driving. Thank you, Keon, for being on this morning.
Yeah. Super dedicated. Keep them coming. Love it. Oh, wait a minute. We got another birthday. Amy says, I'm the 12th of March as well. Happy belated birthday, Miss Amy. Yep. And we got a lot of March babies in here.
Hey, who's this tomorrow?
Whose is tomorrow? Kirby. Tomorrow's Kirby's birthday. Flood her inbox with happy birthdays. So I guess we'll go ahead and jump into it, right? Like, folks out there, we want to know, as you're listening, the 5 people that, like, we're talking about the 5 people that have influenced us the most. Mm-hmm. Now, I realize that my parameters are very loose and wild, and there's a lot of things in my head that make it clear that aren't in everyone else's head. So if you could like listen to what I'm thinking, that would really help. But since you can't yet, my parameters when and if I share my 5 are the 5 people that I spend the most time with right now. Like, it was super simple for me. The thinking is that we are the result or the sum of the 5 resources that we tap into most. And we could extrapolate that into social media, like whatever it is. But we decided to set the parameters to 5, and Kirby, because she's a rebel, she's going to kick that out a little bit, and that's okay because tomorrow's her birthday. She gets a pass. But each of our glamorous speakers are going to explain tell us about the 5 people and the parameters they use to select the 5 people. And the intent is to help all of us think about that, like, who are those, and recognize or take ownership for being intentional about who we surround ourselves with.
And do they know?
Do you know? So give us your
know. Yes, that's important.
Yep. And no free passes. And what that means is we don't just want the names. It's also important to know why. So with that, Miss Jen, I'll let you pick the first victim.
I'm going to start with Kirby.
But it's my birthday tomorrow.
Yes.
Are we going through one or all 5 first? Okay. All 5. Ready, set, go.
Yes.
All right. My bright, shining number 1 is, well, I guess parameters first. Mine were intended to be all this year, and the people I go to most, and the people that maybe don't know me most in the sense of what's my favorite color, but they know me and how I react to things and kind of how I'm going to take certain things and know how to encourage me best and push me best, really. And so number one is my best friend, Morgan, who's actually known me since I was 12. So although the this year part just got a few years on that, she, knowing me since I was 12, obviously has known me at different stages, different ages, different periods of growth. So she can really speak into why I'm doing or not doing certain things and give me the proper encouragement at the proper times. She is also just an encourager, period. She and I are in very different industries. She teaches 6th through 8th grade Latin. And I obviously work construction. So the two don't seem to align, but both are focused on getting our people the best results and the best experiences on site or in the classroom. And so we get to have a lot of conversations about that you wouldn't necessarily expect. So she's just great for vetting ideas out and venting too, because sometimes we both may have the same children type problems. And I don't mean the 2 little ones that I have at home. But definitely her as my top encourager, and just being able to speak to me as I grow, and not me when I was 12 or me when I was 20, but me at future tomorrow, next year. The second one seems like a little bit of a cop out, but it's my husband. So he's known me, I think 8 years, but we'll be married 7 in June. And he is just a patient man in work, in life with me. But he reminds me very often to take it one step at a time and not jump to what the end might look like or what step 27 might look like to start worrying about that. But take the first step, make sure it's planned, and then go and do that before stressing out about the rest of it, which I need daily. And then he is also my leadership book library. He has probably 75 leadership books that now with marrying him, I get to steal from. I have not read all of them yet, but I am working on it. And he just keeps adding to it. So it works out really well for me. And he is also my dictionary for layman's terms, which I've never appreciated more than lately. Anything that I'm just like, I know what that means in true dictionary terms, but what does that look like for me and apply to me? And tax language, real estate language, heck, half my own contract language at work. He can just break it down and explain it to where it makes more sense. So third is more work related, and it is Matt Bragg. He is my official work mentor. He was asked to be my senior project manager when I was promoted to project manager. That transition came from me spending a year as a QC manager, then straight to project manager, which was a little bit more abrupt than a assistant project manager to project manager. But he really took the time to walk me through not only the how and the program steps, but the why behind each of them. And now that I understand the basics, he is there ready to push me and tell me to make my own decisions, but then also there with me to walk through how to fix those when they turn out to be mistakes. But doing that patiently, and again with the why, just always making sure I really understand what not to do or what to do next time and what was good. The fact that he is just a natural good teacher helps all of that. Thankfully, I would even get to call him and his wife friends. So it just adds to that whole 360 kind of relationship of it. So far, all those 3 people I think would know that they are on that list. Maybe not in the top 5, but would know. The 4th one is Miss Alicia Delaney, now Delaney. And I don't know that she would have put herself on this list just yet. We have probably only started interacting more the last 6 or 7 months. But she is my...
Boo!
She pulled a Jessie.
She pulled a Jessie. That's okay. So she's on number 4.
Yes.
Oh, there she is. Looks like she's back.
There-
Yay!
But now there's 2 of me. I went from unknown to 2 of me.
Here, there
we go.
Okay. Well, Miss Alicia.
Yeah, Hoots!
She has been my go-to within Bartlett Cock right now, just vetting a lot of ideas, bouncing ideas off of her. Most recently, I just pop into her office. Do you have a minute? And by a minute, I kind of mean 20 to an hour. And just really trust her insight on things. And again, with that knowing me well, she and I have similar personalities. And so she knows how to encourage correctly and not, I guess, the most encouraging ways. Just it's been nice to have her to walk along with right now. I guess, in short, we submitted an abstract for the LCI Congress, and I kind of told her what I was thinking. Then I sent her what I had typed, and it was 100% different, but she was just along for the ride and loved both ideas, but was ready to be my editor and encourager and walk through what she didn't quite understand, since it was not what I had prepped her for, and then was ready to be on stage if we get to submit or to get awarded that. And then the last one, where I have a quote so that I can have more than one on this one.
Cheater!
Not cheating if I have proof that it's going to be acceptable. So one of the articles I found on this says, a study found that if your friend smokes, you are 61% more likely to be a smoker yourself. If a friend of a friend smokes, you are still 29% more likely to smoke. And a friend of a friend is still 11% more likely to smoke. So the friends of the friends of the friends, according to that math, I get to surround myself with people that are more awesome because I know their friends are equally as awesome. So my last person is a little corny, but the No BS Tribe. And I don't say that as the full resource, but as I started listing people, we talk a lot about how you also pull me out into the depths of the water and throw my starfish about as far out as you can possibly get it. And then laugh because you just love how exciting that is for you. And then Jen, just being able to interact with you more often, the passion you have and just this ability to be bold has definitely made me come out of my shell. Not to mention just some other conversations that we get to have as smaller one-off groups with Sean and Jed and Adam. It's just the interaction that happens in those conversations and the things that we couldn't plan for in those conversations, even when we're all reading the same book or watching the same movies. The things that we get out of that and the conversations and the depth that come from that, those are all my fifth person.
I love it.
There is the top five.
Yes.
Well done, Hootie Hoots. So, what questions do you have, Jennifer?
Well, again, Kirby knows that we could spend the rest of this time me asking questions because I love asking questions. So, Kirby, how hard was it for you to come up with those five?
Very. Morgan came pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. And then I knew that there were groups throughout, like almost all of my 2 through 5 could have been their own little advisory councils. I had the 4 or 5 people at Bartlett Cock and the 4 or 5 people in life, and then the 4 or 5 people that directed in between those two. And so it was hard to narrow down kind of one for me as a wife and a mom, one for me as a friend, one for me as a work employee, and one for me as just a professional. And I think that's kind of how I finally got to 4 and 5-ish.
I think I'm just going to add the No BS Tribe on like all my lists because I'll be like, if Kirby can do it, I can do it.
I didn't mean it to be a cop out, but when I started thinking of who I went through my texts actually and thought, who are the people that I text consistently or on LinkedIn? And it ended up being Jesse, Sean, Jen recently. Thankfully, we finally got numbers.
I love it. So I got 2 questions. Adam Hoot says, thank you for your leadership, anonymous Kirby user. Yes, you killed it. Way to start. Mm-hmm. Dana says, aw, because yes, aw, like that was like for everyone out there in the Omniverse, it is not we didn't like say, hey, you have to list the No BS Tribe as one of your 5. Like that was not a prerequisite to be up here. And you cheated, but that was a damn good cheat. Like you had like data and everything. That's pretty awesome.
I could call it our book clubs too, if we wanted to not use the hashtag. We do
Yes.
just kind of keep meshing into the same groups.
Yes. So two questions. First one is this your abstract for Congress. Is it, what are you going to do? Show some like planning boards and tool stuff? What is it?
Well, Jesse, you're the source of all that too. And this is not a plug for me getting any points, because if I don't present or don't get awarded the ability to present at Congress, I'm really okay with that too. But no, Jesse and I had the great chance to have a 3-hour-long conversation last October at Congress, and just really got to focusing on the fact that even when we want to focus on people, sometimes daily life gets in the way. And unless you have tools that are ready and that you've practiced, you can't necessarily get past the task-oriented nature sometimes, and need better abilities to ask questions and dive in almost quicker. And so with Jesse's guidance, we started a little group called the Support and Capability Group. Probably needs a better end to that one. But the goal of it is to support people as we have a problem owner, and then coach people and help them ask better questions so that the problem owner can not get answers, key thing there, but clarify what their problem is and what they want to do about that problem. Do they even want a solution, or do they just want to better understand what that problem is? And so to focus on better question asking, we also have a third party coach that watches the question owner help bring the problem help bring the problem owner clarity. So if that made any sense, because I have not had to explain that concept before, other than in writing for this abstract, just again, better giving us the resources to jump in and do that well with people in our daily lives, and not get so distracted with the to-do lists.
Yes. Awesome sauce. Second question. Dana Parson anchored on what you said, encourage correctly, like huge in building growth, 100%. Sorry, Dana Person, my bad. Can you give us an example of encouraging incorrectly?
Oh, probably too many of those. Let's see. There's definitely the more yelling. There's the more telling instead of asking and following along. Telling's a big one that I know we've discussed a lot, of just somebody will come in and tell you what you should be doing, even though you may have already done that. And so you kind of shut them out because you really need help on that next step. I think I'd prefer to just say what the good growth or good encouragement is. Matt Bragg specifically will come in and come alongside me and ask those questions again instead of the telling, and figure out where I'm at and what I've done and what my thought process is, so that all of the things that I've spent time doing get acknowledged, and that it helps him as well, because he understands where I'm coming from and he can better lead that next step versus just giving me the end answer. So the next time we come back to it, I'm probably 5 more steps along than I was this time the problem came. And he can better give me the little push and still make me make my own decision with that information. And then again, on the encouragement, knowing that he's going to stand there and help me work through it if I made the wrong decision is huge. The comfort and the confidence I have by knowing he's going to be there at the end of the day too is what allows me to make a lot of the decisions I need to make, which is kind of my job.
Beautiful. So no BS Tribe, questions you have for Miss Kirby and for Miss Amy and for Miss Yesenia, jump them in there. And we just had Miss Amy says, learning how to own your own problems is the first step, and helping others own theirs. Like, I always prefer to talk about everybody else's problems, right? Because that kind of keeps me in the background. But great point, Amy. And I think I'm just going to make it super comfortable. So Thomas Lemay, who happens to know one of our speakers up here, shares HBD. I'm not sure what that means.
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Boom. To those Pisces in the no BS tribe. Pisces is the most intuitive, sensitive, and empathetic sign of the entire zodiac. As the final sign, Pisces has absorbed every lesson, the joys and the pain, the hopes and the fears, learned by all of the other signs. Damn, Tom is going deep here. Yes, Amy, I am a cheater. That's how I roll. But now, since we know Thomas is in the audience, and we know Miss Amy was like ready to take him on and take on any questions he asked, I suggest we go on to Amy and hear about her 5.
Sounds like a great idea.
All right. So the parameters that I used were strictly people that I either currently work with, so mostly that I currently work with, and I've known 4 of them, like 3 of them are within the last year that I've met them, and then 2 I've worked with previously on either projects or companies. So, and this was very hard. So I had to make my parameters like super tight in order to fit it in. So first I'm going to start with Alicia Roby, and she has no idea that I'm saying this about her. But she was the project director for the project, my last project. And she's a fierce leader. And she was on the client side. And so some of what I learned from her was that you can be technically good. You can know all the ins and outs that you need to know. You can know your budgets. You can have all the problem solving, all of that. But at the same time, you can fiercely lead with your heart. Ooh. And she exemplified for me what leading with love was. We were on that project when COVID hit, and that was unprecedented times in our projects in biopharma. So it was extra. And our project didn't stop. It didn't, we were able to maintain schedule. We were able to keep our workers as safe as possible. And she really stepped up to the plate for all of our team. Like every single person on that project, she sincerely cared about. And there's so many other things I could say about her. Like she super supports our community initiatives and pushes me still to be just a bigger and better person with sharing love in leadership. So I'm incredibly grateful that I had the experience to work so closely with her for that first project in this industry. I came over from multifamily previously, and then prior to that, I was in education for a long time. And when we were demobilizing, I sat in her office and started crying and told her that she showed me that I could be in construction and care, which is something that I thought I had to leave behind when I stopped teaching. So yeah, it's allergy season right now. But she's just made she's a huge influence and impact on my life. And like anytime that I need to reach out to her, she's always willing to take my call. She always responds to my messages. She reaches out and checks on me sometimes. Like she knows my current project is very challenging, and she's a great example for me to try to follow. Next is another colleague, but she's also become a dear friend, Emily Heinsley. And she has helped me. So first of all, she's also a type 1 Enneagram. So we very much, yeah, I know about that. So we understand each other on a level that is very, I'll say very intimate. Like she very much understands. I'm also an Aries, so like I get very fiery, and she knows how to influence me in a positive way to talk me down so that I don't go say things or do things that will negatively impact my life. and she just overall is like such a great great cheerleader. Abby, I'm getting there. Calm down. And so Emily, I got to meet her through our last organization, and we both were lucky enough to be able to come over to our current organization and continue to be colleagues, on top of being friends. And she inspires me to continue to do what's right and to speak up and to have the courage to stand up for others when you see something you do need to say something mentality. Then next, I do have a few honorable mentions at the end, but next I have Hamlin Landis II, and he is on my current project. He also is part of the No BS tribe, and Jen happened to work with him previously. Yep. He's been in the industry like 25 years. He is one of those men who he's really worked on not being as abrasive as he used to be. And so I get this like more reformed, self-aware version of him at work. And it's great because like it pushes me further. Like he's so dedicated to this trade, like this industry, like, and he loves the field teams, and he wants to do nothing but like support them and help drive the project in a positive way. And like he's amazing. He also keeps the lean builder in his backpack at all times. So like he's very committed to growth and will never consider himself an expert at something. He's super humble, but he also he's not willing to compromise his integrity, and it's important for him to have things that align with what he believes in. And that helps support me in having that. Like he helps me be able to live a more authentic self, like version of myself, and has that influence over like do what's right, and like what's right, so don't just go with the flow because that might be the easiest. And then I've got Thomas Lemay, which I think he probably didn't think he was going to be on the list. And I connected with Thomas via Emily. We happened to work for the same organization in the same region, but Thomas has just really taken time to invest in my growth and to include me in activities that help me grow as a person and a leader, a colleague, a person, like just all of it. And he also, like, he'll listen to me. He takes what I say seriously, which feels nice because that's not always the way it is. And he's just made that investment that I really, really needed in the last like 6 months. And that has definitely had some ripples of impact. And then my last formal one is a man named Mark Blackman. He also would have no idea that he's on this list, but he came to DPR shortly after I did. And he's not technology savvy, but man can build a team and he can build a building, and like he's an old school super. And he's one of the people that I go to if I need to have a conversation about something that's hard, or I need perspective, or even if I need encouragement. Like, I bought my dream car last year and he knew I was going through that process, and he called me and told me, like, hey, I know that this was a big deal for you. And like, I'm so glad that you were able to do this for yourself. And like, I'm proud that you're at where you've come to be where you're at. And like I cried when he had that phone call with me. But he's one of those guys who, kind of like Jesse talks about, wasn't the person he is now, and didn't have the kindness or the self-awareness or the skills. And he took it upon himself to read all the books and to like grow and become a better person. And now he's such a great advocate for leading with your heart and like treating your people right. And if you treat the people the way that you should, then the building will follow. Like, the business will follow. If you truly are able to develop a high-performing team, the money comes with it. And so he's made a huge impact on me this year. And then my honorable mentions, of course, the No BS tribe, because like Jen and Jess and even like Kirby, Yesenia, Steve, Buddy, like so many, I can't even list all of them. Like, so many of y'all, I spend time watching your live streams. I read your LinkedIn posts. I like your articles. I read books you recommend. I like all kinds. Like, I was all in. I was like, these are people that I want to surround myself with and spend more time with. And Abigail Lewis gets a special mention, along with Maya Little. They're two of my colleagues who also have come into this group, and they're our next generation in this industry. And they're bright, they're smart, they're like driven, and I'm a better person for having them in my life.
Boom. So we got a couple comments. Thank you again for the shout, for the honorable mention. And you're right. I mean, this thing has blown up into like the coolest of the cool. And I say that kind of seriously. That's kind of really seriously, in that the ideas, the spirit, that's the thing. The spirit that the No BS tribe kind of embodies helps me aspire to something greater. Right. I feel like I can be better as a result of being associated with everybody here. And Amy says, injecting genuine empathy into the project and its people is crucial for time management and work execution. Right. Like, we focus on the tools, we focus on the outcomes. And if we just honor the men and women out there, things get kind of magical. Curious idealist Miss Angel says, treat your people right and they'll treat your customers right. It's pretty simple. So Amy, you used the word that one of your top 5 helps you show up as the authentic version of yourself. How hard is that without the support of the 5?
It's currently very difficult. I recently read Dare to Lead, thanks to Thomas and Emily. And, it's a large project and there's a lot of personalities. And I have been on the project longer than anyone else currently. So it's been an extra rough 1.5 years for me. And I want to wear the armor, and I want to, like, part of me wants to show up and kind of be disconnected, but that isn't who I authentically am. Like, that's not part of my superpowers, is taking care of my team and knowing each and every one of them in special special things about them and how to support them and encourage them, or how to talk to them when there needs to be maybe a modification or when they need a different perspective. And if I don't have, like Abby sits down the row from me, so does Hamlin. If I don't have them with me, like Abby was just on vacation for a week. Girl, you can't leave me like that again. Like it was visible. Like I was not as like pumped because she is the enthusiast for her Enneagram type. And that is my weakest area. So, but like knowing that I have people who are able to show me their authentic selves and that we've gotten to that place in our relationships opens the door for me. And then I'm able to show up more as my whole self, because I know that I have people who like will flank me and be with me. And that if it's a hard day, I've got those people that are willing to listen and, just help me stay the course.
Yes. And again, for the No BS tribe out there, I hope you're thinking about your 5. Like we're getting the impact and the depth that people have on us. And I mean, Amy, you talked about your superpowers, but how easy is it to subjugate them and put on your street clothes, right? And not show up and share the gifts and talents that you've been blessed with when you're not surrounded with that backup. We got some comments here about folks getting the allergies. Jen, thoughts?
Yeah, well, again, I mean, everything Amy said resonated, but I think what she said that I think hit me straight is that fiercely showing up with your heart. And it hit me because I think there was a point to where I felt like I had to make a choice, that either I'm going to show up and I'm going to prove my worth and I'm going to prove that I deserve to be here and I'm going to prove it and I'm going to make sure everybody knows it, or I'm going to show up with my heart, with my kindness, with my love, with my compassion, and hopefully that will show everything else. And like that was a point that I had to make that choice, because I felt like I was walking this fence and I was trying to do this and trying to do that and okay, I can do this in this room, but not in this room. And it was freaking exhausting because again, we have stuff going constantly all the time. And I realized the moment I made that decision of I'm just going to show up fiercely with my heart and with my integrity and with who I am, it changed the game. It changed the game because then I didn't have to worry about that stuff. I could worry about the stuff that, was important, because that stuff wasn't taking space in my head. And so when you said that, it was just, it resonated because we live in this balance sometimes of how do I show up? How do I show up? What do I do? What's important? What's not? And once we get past that and are able to own the impact we have, see the ripples we're making, and we're seeing all those right now, it puts us in a different place. And then what's the potential? And then, what can we do? So thank you for that, Amy.
Magic. And Herbert says the empathy side of our business is so underrated. And I've said this before, and I got to say it again. There's a lot of hoopla about the Great Exodus. And I think it's my idea or thought that the companies that figure out how to appreciate and value the people that come to work on both sides of the gate are going to be the ones that win. Straight up, no doubt in my mind. Bonuses, lunches, all of that is cool. But if you don't make me feel special, there's plenty of other people out there that are going to make me feel special. And we as an industry have a long way to go to get there. So Miss Yesenia, you've had like all kinds of time to get warmed up and steal ideas. Before we go on you, now we got your attention now. James Gable says, Yes, the No BS tribe are just people you want to hang out with. Thank you, Miss Amy. And Maria Martin says, Jennifer, I was wondering if you had chosen and how you chose. Thank you for sharing. Spilling the beans, spilling the beans. So, Miss Yesenia, would you mind giving us your response to the top 5, the Fab
I don't mind at all, and I am not stealing anyone's ideas. So when you guys asked me to be a part of this, my thought was, who has been the most impactful, influential persons still today, but have impacted me for a while now. So that was my parameters. My top number 1, of course, is my mama. She, so mascara alert, everybody. She is the rock of our family. I don't know if you guys know a little bit of my story, but she left Mexico at the young age of 27 with my 3 brothers. Literally, came through the river, across the river to get over here for a better life and to get away from abuse. That being said, that's held a lot for me. I know that that was a huge decision for her to make. But to this day, she still remains that same strong and just amazing rock for our family that I can't help but to see her as my most influential person. I get to talk to her, not necessarily every day, but definitely a few times a week. And I know she's always there to be my ear for any kind of, personal thoughts and ideas and things to bounce off of her. She's just always been there for us, and that's something that I will always cherish, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today. That's the way I see it, right? Born and raised in Dallas, Texas, baby.
Yes.
So that's definitely my number 1, my biggest one. My number 2 is my very first boss in construction, Chris Escobel. He is a managing director for Lemay. I started in the construction industry by mere luck. I was supposed to answer the phones for 3 days through a temp agency there at Lemay, and 3 days became almost 14 years in construction. And I can tell you this, I learned pretty much everything that I know today. I learned it from Chris, the good and the bad. After a long day of a bid day, cracking open a bottle of cognac maybe to help to help ease that craziness of a bid day. But even again with Chris Escobel to this day, he is somewhat of my mentor for sure. We stay in touch. We probably talk once a week. I've been away from Lemay now for almost 10 years. But he is somebody that I keep really close and dear to my heart, and he does know that. It's not a surprise. And how they say, everything that you learn, I think, throughout life, there's always that one person that continues to you continue to hear them in the background, right? All those little steps both in professional and personal. And Chris is one of those people that just kind of tend to show up in the background for me, that remind me, hey, you're doing this right. You're continue, keep moving forward, kind of an affirmation. My number 3 is Bianca Sandoval. She is with Austin Commercial Diversity. I met Bianca Probably it was the first year that I was in construction also. So it was about 23 years ago. It was funny because I met her in the professional sense, but my husband and I ended up going to her double wedding, and it was like, whoa, the construction industry is a small world, right? Because I had no idea. There's like no connection there, but we ended up in going to her double wedding because my husband knew the other groom. And then from that point, we just connected. We became really close friends. She is our firstborn's godmother. So that's how close we are. But her and I are both Scorpios, by the way, talking about zodiac signs. And we are very strong women. We're both in construction, and it's just so nice to know somebody that is basically in the same arena, right, as I am, so that I am able to kind of speak that same language and bounce things off of her. She probably doesn't know how much she has influenced me, so I am going to definitely let her know. Yeah, she's amazing. I don't know if any of you guys know her, but if you don't, definitely you should meet her. She is like me. We both have brothers only, no sisters. So I think we were meant to be in the construction industry, right? It's a man's world, baby. No, it's not anymore. So the fourth person is my current boss, Carmen Autry. She started NTD Mechanical 20 years ago. I met Carmen when I was at Lemay, so this was probably 13 or so years ago. And at that time, I just thought, wow, a woman, who owns her own company, that is freaking amazing. I didn't know how cool of a person she was going to be until I came on board a little over 7 years ago. I've been working with her now. And wow, she is one of the best leaders that I can say for sure that I've known. She has helped me have a voice. That is one of the things that yes, I've been in the industry now for a while, but working Lemay and the other GC company, I just felt like maybe being a woman that I wasn't really being heard. I would always say what was in my mind and give my ideas, but I felt like I was always shut down. And
You're good. Take a breather. This is beautiful. We love you sharing the vulnerability and the reality of your life experience. So too, want to bring up Miss Elizabeth Yande, who, by the way, she and I got a quick little dance on back in South Carolina a while back. And Miss Elizabeth, I still owe you a dance, and we will get that here sometime. But Elizabeth says the power is in the experience people have at work. And how does that relate to Miss Yesenia right now? Clearly, the experiences she's having at work right now is monumental. She's speaking of something that is positive and impactful and lasting, and it's bringing her to tears. And I'm going to guess that it's because her experience hasn't always been that way. And that's not appropriate. She mentioned that her number 4, this person, helped her have a voice. That is no small thing. And we got a ton of leaders on this call right now that have significant responsibility, immense influence in the organizations that they serve and lead at. So the question to you leaders out there is, are you helping people have a voice? And if you are, leave us some cheat codes in the comments. Tell us, how exactly do you help people have a voice? Because if you don't know what it's like to not have a voice, to feel like you have to mute yourself and barter the words you're going to use and how you're going to say it and how you're going to dress and how you're going to fix your hair, you have no idea how confining that experience can be. And at the same time, you have no idea how liberating and how much life you can breathe into another human being.
Yes. Can I add?
Come on.
Yes, just because it's going to go back to Yesenia, and you're going to get to finish, Yesenia. But I need to say this because I know you and I, we've kind of connected through a project that our companies joint ventured on, and then our relationship grew from there, Yesenia. But I'm going to tell you, and that was about 7 or 8 years ago, that we went after a job together. Our companies did, and that's how I met Yesenia. And Yesenia was the lead pre-construction person on that job. So let me just say that in a construction company, she was the lead pre-con person that was helping buy out the job and planning for the job that we were going after. And so Yesenia, you may not know this, but when we were doing that, like you helped me see the opportunities within this industry because you were freaking a boss. Like you were the person in the room that everyone was listening to. And so I know people are helping you have a voice and you're recognizing them, but girl, you empowered me with that project and with the conversation and just meeting you and being able to be in rooms with you and do things with you. So I hear you and I know people have helped you, but please know you helped me.
Boom. Mic drop.
Wow, Jen. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, because I do remember that now that you brought that up. But I guess it's being super humble and not really thinking of how I impact the world. I know I want to, but I don't know how I do it. So thank you.
You're doing it right now, Yesenia, right? Thank you for allowing us. Miss Elizabeth says, you are powerful. Thank you for letting us into your vulnerable space. Allergy season.
It just means a lot. It does. Carmen is huge for my life right now. So super thankful. So I'm going to go to my fifth. It's a little different. Not sure that I'll be able to explain it as good as it is in my mind and in my heart, but my fifth is my kids. Noah and Isabella. Noah's 18. This is his first year at Texas Tech. He's a freshman. And Isabella is 17, a junior in high school. And, everything that I do it for them. And now seeing them become these little adults, it just really continues to encourage me. And, it's just affirmation that everything that I've done to this point hasn't been for no reason at all, right? Like they see it. We have conversations that they have told me that they see, what all the sacrifices that I've made, working late nights or working on weekends. There's a little bit of I want to say balance, but balance is not the right word. But just it's one of those thoughts that you have to figure out. Okay, you give yourself time for what you need to, but there's also the need of family time. But the thing of listening to them now as adults and hearing them, that they appreciate it, it just keeps me going. They're like my little cheerleaders. Again, in the background and in the forefront. So that's all my five.
That's all? That's amazing. All. That is amazing. So we got her Fab Five up on the screen. Miss Jen, what questions do you have for Yesenia?
I know, poor thing. It's like I'm trying not to pile on, but again, I just want to, you hit your 5, and it's funny because some of yours were like, well, I can relate to those specifically. But you and I've had some conversations on the side, and I know you've been you voiced and been so engaged with our tribe. How has that helped you in your role, the tribe itself, but then also when you were thinking about the 5 that you had to identify, like what were those voices going on in the back of your head?
I think it really goes back to giving me that voice, giving me that platform. I think the No BS tribe has really just been another resource, but maybe not another, just like the resource. Like I just feel like I'm part of this family and I haven't even been, part of it very long, but yeah, it's definitely super encouraging to hear others that are on the No BS tribe, listen to their vulnerabilities, just being true, raw. Jess, every time I hear you speak too, I'm like, whoa, like I totally resonate with some of your stories, and not in a bad way. I'm talking about it in a good way.
Yeah.
So no, it's been great. I'm so glad that I was able to find you guys. Hi Herb, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
We got superstars up here. So we got some beautiful comments. And Jennifer had an idea that we kind of talked about backstage.
Yes.
Steve gives us some cheat code. The master marketer, Steve, says, so grateful for his new role and the chance to help others have a voice. His cheat codes are hashtag just show up, hashtag be authentic, and hashtag listen. Like, let's do that. Thank you,
Yes.
Steve, for that. Maria agrees. She says, go, Steve, go. And then Thomas says, real leaders are proactive. Pro equals 4 plus active equals movement towards the goal. My personal mantra lately, my greatness is in the next 5 minutes. Ooh,
I like that.
baby. Like, talk about real. What is my say-do ratio in the next 5 minutes, and will it be great? Son of a gun, that guy's got some heavy thoughts going on over there. So
Yes.
again, we got like 8 minutes, and I love it because
We're probably going to go over, but I know we're going to try not to, and if people have to jump off, we'll still record, but I have a feeling we're going to have to go over today just because it maybe go a little longer, but we'll see.
Okay.
But no, so I want to address, I know you and I still have to give our 5, which I don't think we can do in 8 minutes, but that's okay. I want our tribe to at least start entering this information if possible. So you and I have had this conversation Adam suggested it, we nixed it, and now we're bringing it back up. So Adam gets full credit. Whether he wants it or not, he gets full credit. So the 3 of us, you, Adam, and I, are part of different pods, and we call the pods groups of people that are in, I'm going to say in the messaging, it's almost like the messaging part of LinkedIn. There's a group of people. We're all, I think 3 different ones. Some has 50, one has 38, one had just different pods of people that are in there, and we use that to be able to celebrate each other. So people will, if they make a post on LinkedIn, they will be able to put that link in that pod, and then everybody in that pod gets to go, oh crap, Jesse just posted. Let me go and look at it and like it and comment it and things like that. So we've been on pods. We've seen the value of those, and we've seen how it has helped elevate people that are just doing some amazing things. So that's where it started. And then Adam suggested we should have a No BS tribe pod. And you nixed it at first because you had maybe some stinky experiences that you can talk about in a minute. But it's come back around because we're growing and we're big, and we want to celebrate people. People being the key word there. So my suggestion, and we're going to do it only on this show. We're not going to put it out there for the Omniverse on LinkedIn. It's only if you've watched this show will you be a part of it. So, and then Jesse, you can give your disclaimers on what needs to be in there and what doesn't in a minute. But if you want to be a part of that pod, which if you don't know what it is, we talked to Kirby this morning about it, but it is, again, it's a pod that's in your messaging, and you just go in and you have a group of people that you can put stuff in there and they can give you feedback, or you can put your link in there and people can go follow you and like you. If you will put, I don't want to say orange because I know on LinkedIn it's hard to find the orange heart, the green heart. If you will put a green heart in the comments, just a heart, I know you want to be part of that pod, and I will add you to that pod. So Jesse's going to give a little more description on what needs to be put in that pod or what we're going to use it for. But if you want to be a part of it, put a green heart in the comments during this show.
Yes. So because I get grouchy about certain things, I have issues, the purpose is always pretty darn important to me. And so the purpose of this pod is to help elevate each other. One amazing thing that I've been able to experience is Kirby, for example. I know how amazing she is, but the rest of the world hasn't discovered that yet. And I want to help that, right? And I can't do it by myself. We can do it together. And so that's the idea, is when you have stuff, you want to be a part of this pod, we're going to support each other. We're going to elevate each other. We're going to challenge each other. The stinky part about it is it can be leveraged, or there's a better word.
Monopolized.
It can be manipulated to sell your product. And I get that. Like everybody's out there. We're all business people. And I can make this 100% commitment to you. All the green hearts, man, they're coming in. That is amazing. All the green hearts, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. And I want you to change the world with us. But I promise you, if you're selling junk, you will get no interaction from me. And so my request is, if you're selling stuff, please do it outside of the pod. Because again, we want to support each other. It's about this no BS tribe movement of recognizing each other, of appreciating the humanity in one another and changing people's thinking. And when and if I violate that rule, feel free to slap me across the face. Like, I can handle it. So we got 4 minutes.
Okay. So, and just disclaimer too, if you can just, before you post in there, if you just have a question, ask the pod, put it in there. We have a ton of people that can contribute to responses. If you're just having something you need some feedback on, if you're going to put a post in there, ask yourself, does this post focus on people? That's it. If it's focused on people and elevating people, it doesn't matter. It may have your logo in it or whatever. If it focuses on people and elevating people, then that's the space it needs. Then it's the right space.
Beautiful, beautiful filter. So we got lots of green hearts. It's like St. Patrick's Day passed by here the other day. We got the after party thing, right? Like, so we got the after party, and I wish I could, like, this is going exactly as I planned, Jen. Like, everybody would talk about their top 5.
I know, and you still have to talk about yours.
Yeah. So, well, thank you, Adam. Hit us up on the after party, and we'll definitely hear about Jennifer's top 5.
No, okay. Like, we still have like 2 minutes. They're gonna come at us, Jesse. You have to give them at least something. Like, you have to. Okay. So like something, because they're gonna kill us. Like,
yes.
You can't give them nothing.
Go. Give it to them,
No,
Jen.
Okay. No, you give your 5. You don't have to explain them, and then we can explain later.
Okay. So my 5, like I explained at the top of the call, is specifically the parameters were the people that I spend the most time with. The background on that is there was a period of time where I spent a lot of time with a lot of people and didn't understand the impact that was having on my thinking and the way I showed up in the world. And so fast forward to today, I know that the people I spend the most time with have an immense impact on me. And so I'm very selective about who those people are. And so my top 5 is Jennifer, Adam, my baby brother, Renee, who's not a baby, Dr. Princess Kim White, who is magical and amazing. And the 5th one is me, which might be a little cheating, but I do spend a lot of time in my head, meditating, reflecting, journaling, blah, blah, blah. So those are my top 5, Jen.
Okay. And so we probably have to carry that over to the next time, because you're going to have to give us a little more background on some of those, but that's okay. So I will do my I feel like I'm gonna do I'm gonna do my top 5, and just so I got an extra person in there, I'm putting you and Adam in the same category. That's one. One is you and Adam, because I feel like I spend the equal amount of time with both of you. So so that's one, you and Adam. And then one is those of you that had tuned in last 2 weeks ago, my brother Brian. I have 3 brothers, but I spend a lot of time talking to Brian and conversating with Brian. And the third one is, let me see, 1, 2, 3, is Demetria, which Yesenia knows Demetria. And she is just one of those people that no matter what I do, and I get a random phone call, Jennifer, oh my gosh, you're blowing up the world. And she's just one of those people that, like, I sometimes think it's okay. And then she just shines a light on it 1,000 times. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing some really cool things. The fourth one is Keon. And Keon knows I reach out to him a lot just because I need some like thought, perspective, but he also, in my journey, in my lean journey, in my leadership journey, and what I'm trying to do to change the world, he is a voice that is constant and is listening, and it gives me advice, but also doesn't give me advice and just kind of lets me figure things out, like the capability stuff. And, you know, that's exactly what I would have done, Jennifer, and things like that. So he empowers me more than he, I think, even realizes. And so I appreciate him. And then my 5th one is Alex. And I have 2 girls. And so I'm not trying to only focus on Alex, but Alex changes the way I show up because of her. She's got anxiety, and she's got a lot of things that she deals with. And so the way I talk to her and the way I have to adjust helps me do my job better, because I know she's one little person that still has her whole life ahead of her. But the things I have to do to change for her also helps me when I'm interacting with people outside of my home. So those are my 5.5, 6 people. So
beautiful. Oh, there we go. Jen's top 5. Jess and Hoots. Hoots. We're like, right? Like Siamese. Brian, his brother Brian, who I got to hang out with last time. Demetria, Keon, and the great and amazing superstar, Alex. She's the amazingest.
Yes.
We're 2 minutes over. We didn't get to do final thoughts, but we are grateful. Yesenia, Amy, Kirby, thank you for sharing and bringing, revealing everything that you did with the No BS Tribe. No BS Tribe, love y'all.
We do have homework, just really super fast. So So thank you again. We will shine more light on you afterwards. Don't forget to put the heart in there, even if you're listening in the after party or listening on the replay. Add a green heart. You'll get added to the pod. So we're just not going to post that on social media anywhere else. But the homework is, because we're wrapping up this owning your impact. What is your impact? All that stuff. People that impact you. Next time we get together on the 2nd. Any takeaways, any big takeaways that you've had over the last 3 months, please share those on social media, share those, tag the No BS Tribe, put them on our page. Again, we appreciate all of you. And I think that's it. Thank you again, Yesenia, Amy, Kirby. Thank you so much for showing up today.
Yes. Clubhouse after party, baby.